Ever wonder about unfinished projects from Star Trek, Marvel, DC, Image and other illustrious projects? Today we'll look at the top 10 controversial movies that got cancelled. Welcome to another show. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's get right into it. Number 10, The Alien. This was an unproduced Indian-American science fiction film in development in the late 1960s, which was eventually cancelled. It was to be directed by Indian filmmaker Satyajit Ray and co-produced by Columbia Pictures. The script was written by Ray in 1967, loosely based on Bankubabur Bundu. The plot revolves around a spaceship that lands in a pond in rural Bengal. The villagers begin worshipping it as a temple risen from the depths of the earth. The alien, known as Mr. Ong, establishes contact with a young village boy named Haba. The alien had Columbia Pictures as producer for this planned US-India co-production, and Peter Sellers and Marlon Brando acting in lead roles. However, Ray was surprised to find that the script he had written had already been copyrighted and the fee appropriated by Michael Wilson, a Colombo-based producer who acted as Ray's representative in Hollywood. Wilson had copyrighted the script as co-writer, despite not being involved in any way in its creation. Marlon Brando later dropped out of the project, and though an attempt was made to bring James Coburn in his place, Ray became disillusioned and returned to Calcutta. When the filming T the Extraterrestrial was produced in 1982, Ray noted similarities in the movie to his own earlier script. Ray discussed the collapse of the project in a 1980 Sight and Sound feature, with further details revealed by his biographer Andrew Robinson. Ray claimed that Steven Spielberg's film would not have been possible without my script of The Alien being available throughout America in mimeographed copies. When the issue was raised by the press, Spielberg denied this claim and said, "I was a kid in high school when his script was circulating in Hollywood."
Marie, my little one, you're going to be as beautiful as your mother, isn't she, Duchess?
Number 9, The Aristocats 2. In 2005, Disney Toon Studios originally planned to make a follow-up to The Aristocats. Originally intended to be a 2D animated feature, Disney executives decided to produce the film in computer animation in order to garner more interest. Additionally, the story was meant to center around Marie, Duchess's daughter, who becomes smitten by another kitten aboard a luxury cruise ship. However, she and her family must soon take on a jewel thief on the open seas. The project was cancelled when John Lasseter was named Disney's new chief creative officer, in which he called off all future sequels Disney Toon had planned and instead make original productions or spin-offs. Number 8, Blade Runner 2, The Edge of Human. Not to be confused with the 2017 sequel Blade Runner 2049, this was a novel written in 1995 by K.W. Jeter. It is a continuation of both the film Blade Runner and the novel upon which the film was based, Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The plot: several months after the events depicted in Blade Runner, Deckard has retired to an isolated shack outside the city, taking the replicant Rachel with him in a Tyrell transport container, which slows down the replicant aging process. He is approached by a woman who explains she is Sarah Tyrell, niece of Eldon Tyrell, heiress to the Tyrell Corporation and the human template for the Rachel replicant. In the late 1990s, Edge of Human had been adapted into a screenplay by Stuart Hazeldine, Blade Runner Down, that was to be filmed as the sequel to the 1982 film Blade Runner. Ultimately, neither this script nor the Jeter novel were used for the eventual sequel, Blade Runner 2049, which follows a different story. Number 7, Black Hammer. Black Hammer is an ongoing American comic series created by writer Jeff Lemire and artist Dean Ormston, published by Dark Horse Comics. 10 years ago, Black Hammer and 6 other superheroes saved Spiral City from the anti-god, but in the process became trapped in Rockwood, a timeless Twilight Zone-ish town. Shortly after the heroes arrived, Black Hammer died while trying to escape. In the present, the 6 heroes live on Black Hammer Farm with very little hope of ever escaping Rockwood. Jeff Lemire originally conceived of Black Hammer in 2007, intending to draw the story himself after the end of Essex County. In 2008, he pitched the series to Dark Horse editor Diana Schutz. The pitch was accepted, but Lemire was unable to begin work until he finished The Nobody and Sweet Tooth for Vertigo. Then his exclusivity contract for DC Comics prevented him from working on the series from 2010 to 2014. When Lemire returned to the series in 2014, he was working on so many projects that drawing it himself was no longer possible, so he teamed up with artist Dean Ormston for the title. According to Lemire, it was important for Black Hammer to not to look anything like mainstream superhero comics. He wanted the series to stand outside of superhero comics and comment on them, not become one of them. For this, Ormston's art style was deemed perfect. Lemire wrote a pilot script for the initial project with Legendary and his series Bible, but in April 2021 Legendary Entertainment's option on the series was passed and Lemire was looking for a new home. Number 6. Batman vs. Godzilla. The original idea for this seemingly mismatched crossover comes from the hand of series writer Shinichi Sekizawa, who submitted a manuscript of the proposal in November 1965. Sekizawa's concept featured several characters from the Batman universe, including Robin and Commissioner Gordon. To actually battle the King of the Monsters, Batman and his sidekicks would have utilized several vehicles to engage in combat, including the Batmobile, the Batcopter, and the Batcycle. Interesting to note, the concept also featured the introduction of a weather control apparatus, an idea which would later be worked into the script for Son of Godzilla, 1967. It was also going to have another device to control Godzilla himself, which would possibly indicate another antagonist pitting the two characters against each other. In terms of Sekizawa's motivation, his reasoning seems clear in these drafts: to try and repeat the mammoth international success that the crossover film King Kong vs. Godzilla, 1962, enjoyed. This is made apparent in allusions to the earlier 1962 film, as even this extremely early take at the concept included mention of Godzilla's battle with King Kong, which was noted as being included with stock footage of the two titans fighting. Not surprisingly, though, the concept never got far enough for a full-fledged script to have been created. There are many questions related to the proposal still unknown as well, such as if DC Comics was ever actually approached with the idea or not. It is also not known to what degree the then recent Batman TV series, which debuted 2 months after Sekizawa proposed this idea, might have played, if any. It is also interesting to note that references to Batgirl are made in the concept, which would predate the Barbara Gordon version of the character that would later become synonymous with the name in 1966. Number 5. Gambit. Gambit is an unproduced American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It was intended to be an installment of the X-Men film series. Before its cancellation, the film had been written by Josh Zetumer based on a story by the character's creator Chris Claremont. Channing Tatum was set to star in the title role. By October 2007, Gambit was believed to be appearing in the spin-off film X-Men Origins: Wolverine, set for release in 2009. Tatum was unable to recommit to the part at that time because of scheduling conflicts with G.I. Joe. The Rise of Cobra and Taylor Kitsch was ultimately cast in the role. In September 2013, Tatum expressed interest in taking over the role from Kitsch, saying, "Gambit's my favorite. I'm from New Orleans, around that area. My dad's from New Orleans, and I like to do a Cajun accent. I could do it for real. No knock on Taylor Kitsch, though, 'cause I actually like his Gambit." Number 4. Hack Slash. Hack Slash is a comic book series, launched from several one-shots of the same name, published by Image Comics previously by Devil's Due Publishing. The series was created by writer and sometime penciler Tim Seeley. The series follows horror victim Cassie Hack as she strikes back at the monsters who prey upon teenagers. First released through Image was the 4-part miniseries My First Maniac, which started in June 2010. It was followed by a second ongoing Hack Slash series, which concluded in March 2013 with issue 25. Image Comics later published the complete Hack Slash, including crossovers and the early Devil's Due issues, in 5 numbered omnibus editions. The possibility of Hack Slash being made into a live-action film by Rogue was discussed by director Todd Lincoln and others at the 2006 San Diego Comic-Con, to be released in 2008. In 2009, Todd Lincoln was replaced by Frederick Bond as director, with Justin Marks writing the screenplay. Steven Susko was later announced as a co-writer. The proposed film passed through many hands after that, with even talk of a TV series, but nothing happened, causing outlets such to assume that the series is in development hell. Number 3. Little Sparrow was a proposed biopic on singer Madonna. She was set to direct and co-write the film with Aaron Cressida Wilson from a previous draft by Diablo Cody. However, the film production was postponed in January 2023. In a press release, Universal Film Entertainment Group chairwoman Donna Langley stated that the film will focus on Madonna's music career as well as the broader, unvarnished story of her life. A March 2022 article in The Hollywood Reporter detailed the months-long audition process for the lead role, which involved 11-hour choreography sessions with Madonna's choreographer for the top contenders. On June 8, 2022, it was announced that Julia Garner has been offered the role of Madonna. Stuart Heritage from The Guardian called one of the most berserk audition processes in motion picture history. Number 2. Star Trek Planet of the Titans. Pre-production began on a film with a treatment and subsequent script called Planet of the Titans, produced by British writing team Chris Bryant and Alan Scott, with the intention of keeping costs down by filming in the United Kingdom. There were difficulties in ensuring that both William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy would sign to the film, as Shatner's deal with Paramount had expired, and Nimoy was concerned with unauthorized use of his image on merchandising. Philip Kaufman was signed to direct, after several other filmmakers were approached. The plot would have seen the crew investigating the homeworld of the mythical Titans, and in escaping through a black hole are hurled into the prehistoric past where they teach early man how to make fire. Bryant and Scott turned in their script on March 1, 1977. It was rejected by Paramount and they departed the project in April 1977 because they found that Kaufman's and Roddenberry's ideas for the film repeatedly conflicted. They later said they were disappointed as they felt it had been absolutely a go picture and that it was just one of those deals that happens at studios from time to time that fell down the middle. Number 1, Batgirl. This is an unreleased American superhero film based on the DC Comics character Barbara Gordon Batgirl. Produced by Burr Productions and DC Films, it was intended to be an installment in the DC Extended Universe. The film was directed by Adil El Arbi and Bill Alfala from a screenplay by Christina Hodson, and starred Leslie Grace as Batgirl, alongside J. K. Simmons, Jacob Scipio, Brendan Fraser, and Michael Keaton. In August 2022, DC Films and HBO Max parent Warner Bros. Discovery announced that, while the film had entered post-production, the studio no longer planned to release it due to the company's cost-cutting measures and a refocus on theatrical releases. That was our look at 10 movies that remain unproduced. What about you? Did you know about any of these movies? Was there one you were looking forward to that didn't get made? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter merchandise also in the comments, and until next time, this is Andrew in for Kevin Gibbons saying live long and prosper. May the force be with you and keep reaching for the stars.